Hi everybody. I'm gonna be doing some dark screen videos whenever I put a video on this channel. Okay, everybody. All right. Only on my new channel or my current other channels will y'all be able to see me. I won't be on screen on this channel. Be faceless videos only, just so y'all can keep the channel. So y'all, um, I'm not dealing with anybody over 55. I don't want to associate with them unless they've already supported me. And that goes for this channel. If you already been supporting this channel when you over 55, then we cool. But anybody over 55, especially women, I'm not dealing with them. Okay? If you've been supporting this channel already, then you're the exception to the rule. But I'm great rocking anybody that's over 55, especially the women. And I'm gonna get into the video. I'm gonna get into this video topic, okay? So people don't think I'm being ageist. I'm gonna get into this. I'm gonna get into this video topic, and some of y'all gonna have a little wake up call maybe, because time does matter, okay? The years that people put on earth and the time period that people have been born in and how they've been influenced by that time period does matter. People love to say it's ageist not to deal with baby boomers or people over 55, because a lot of people over 55 is very close to being a baby boomer, or they are a baby boomer, or they got baby boomer ways. And I personally don't want nothing to do with them. It's not about not forgiving. It's not about being bitter. It's about their influence have gone on enough in my life and since I was a child, and I don't want nothing more to do with it. Okay? I'm one of many people who have been hugely set back because of that generation. Now I know there's people who are going to argue with me, and there's going to people going to be offended, and there's going to be people that's going to be like, "Oh, I'm going to report your video because you're ageist." But that's exactly what I'm talking about. People don't want to admit that generation over 55 was not good for us in so many different ways. As a collective, they weren't. This is why there's so many people under 60 just straight up stuck. Okay? We all know that our life lessons and our growth and all that, it comes from family first. It comes from the communities that we're grown up in, that we're raised in. And a lot of us was raised up under grandmas that were over 55, and mothers that was over 50, that would be over 55 right now, that would be even going on 70. And it was extremely toxic for what we knew we had to do. Kids are very connected to God. Kids be knowing what they're chosen to do, what they're called to do. They spend so much time not doing the toxic things that their parents do, that they get those intuitive messages that their parents don't get. But that older generation tried to override the intuitive messages, because all they cared about was just putting some bread on the table and any old roof over the head. It didn't matter what type of roof. It didn't even matter if the job was toxic. They just wanted the kids to just have some sort of income and just be comfortable with that. Like, literally don't want nothing more and don't expect more. And I find that that was very toxic. I'm telling the truth. And I didn't expect to see a lot of people click on this video, because some people want to see me on screen because they want to attack me because they are triggered by this video topic. But I'm telling the truth. This is why I get offended when people call me auntie and stuff, because I'm not in my 50s. I'm not even old enough to be an older sibling of a baby boomer. And that's why I get offended, because I don't have their mindset, and I'm not even nowhere near a baby boomer. I'm literally younger than Cameron Diaz. She's right under a baby boomer, and I'm younger than her. And I have to say that over this last year and a half, when I decided to go on my intuition that I had when I was a child, all of a sudden, all my numbers, to all my scriptures and angel numbers and scripture numbers all turned abundant. That speaks volumes. That lets me know when I was growing up, the people that was telling me to do other things, they was, you could say they was sent by the devil, or they was something to block my purpose, even though they shared the same blood and lived in the same house as me, or went to the same family cookout. And last thing I need is for any more of them to block me again. Last thing I need, last thing I need is any of them to cause any more delays in my purpose and my destiny. Because y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all something a lot of y'all may not know. Okay? I'm gonna tell y'all something a lot of y'all may not know. Your spiritual, your energy purpose in this world, and you do have a purpose. A lot of people are on that trend, I don't have a purpose. It's not defined the way they defined it. Okay, I'm using the word purpose so everybody will know what I'm talking about. But that's not the real word for it. It's how you're going to be able to help this world, how you're chosen to contribute to society energetically and spiritually, to be able to access those powers of your spirit naturally without so much sweat and effort, where it just comes intuitively. When you do that, a lot of other areas of your life will start to work themselves out. Okay? It's all areas of your life is interconnected. So when you have baby boomers, or those older who has been listening to baby boomers and influencing the younger generation, to abandon that intuitive power that's telling them what they're supposed to give to society, what ends up happening is the rest of that person's life goes becomes a wreck. All areas of your life goes downhill. Your health, your mental health, your sleep ain't even as strong. The way you feel about money starts to become negative. The way you treat yourself is like a constant battle to maintain self-care. Also, the way you feel about society goes negative. See what I'm saying? So this is why I say I don't want to deal with people who have. If you haven't supported me already, I don't want to be friends with anyone over 55, because I don't need them. I don't need them trying to make me feel guilty for not doing what the baby boomers taught them to do, or just say, oh, let's just go with what the system say to do. Like, they made it seem like your whole mission is just to stay off of welfare. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, we know that a lot of great things happened when people were on welfare. Okay? The baby boomer said, be a slave just so you don't be on welfare. As if those resources that welfare give you, it's not yours. This land is yours. Okay? This food, these trees, you're entitled to all of it. And they made it seem like it's embarrassing to not remain on welfare until your purpose has the breakthrough that it should have, for no matter how long it takes. They made it seem like it was wrong. Okay? That it's wrong to think that you could get successful as an artist. That it's wrong to think that you could get successful using your own hands and your own intuition. And I think that's like real wicked to have put that in the mindset of people, because we knew people that did it. So why would they tell us that we can't do it? Y'all see the problem? Like we knew people who did it. We knew people in history books. We knew people from our own city and state that did it. That didn't take the path that they were taking. Yet they want to tell us that it was impossible. To me, that was manipulation just to control our energy. You know, anything that you're trying to become successful off, it takes a lot of sacrifice of the normal modern things, and that's just the way it goes. This 9 to 5 job stuff, that was supposed to be the support, not plan A. That wasn't supposed to be plan A. That was supposed to be plan B. That was supposed to be a support system, not the main thing that you glamorize and you make your main source. That's ridiculous. Arnold Schwarzenegger have a wonderful video that talks about that. He talks about how he never had a plan B. Like, he never said 9 to 5 job is his plan B or plan A. He pretty much was willing to take donations and welfare and all of that, and maybe work a little part-time job, and but still he has, be able to pursue his bodybuilding dream. Let's look at this, y'all. If you spend your life at a 9 to 5 job, where is the time to travel to meet people with opportunities? How can you take off to say, oh, I need to meet this famous person? Let me tell you, I have missed so many opportunities because I couldn't take off work. I was literally supposed to be on the set of the movie Fences. I had a private invitation, VIP pass. I met someone at a karaoke party who had backstage access. Okay. I literally could have met Denzel Washington, but I was so worried about losing my job if I called off that I did not call off. And here I am, an exceptional writer. Who knows what would have happened? Who knows what would have happened if I went and I met other screenwriters, playwriters there, and I got to talk to Denzel and share some of my work, and maybe got his email to email some of my literary work or whatever. See if it can be turned into screenplays, because my work can be turned into screenplays. But the point that I missed that opportunity due to listening to the baby boomers. And I hope that me sharing my experience will make y'all see, okay? The opportunity for your success and your mission always comes back around. Always come back around. But do you want to be one of those people that be like, Dad, when is it going to come back around again? I shouldn't have listened to these baby boomers. I shouldn't have listened to them. I should have, why did I have to have the things that they had? Like, why did I have to have a 9 to 5 job just to fake like I'm rich? Why couldn't I be rich in skill and talent and artistry? Why did I have to be rich in my appearance, fake rich in my appearance, and fake rich with my home, when I could actually have the true riches that are within? Some of y'all are probably not going to learn that in this life. Some of y'all energy going to have to come back the next life for y'all to learn a tough lesson about the riches ain't got nothing to do with the outside of you, y'all. It has nothing to do with that. Of course, I know you're saying money, but let's keep it real. There's people getting by right now, doing more than you, got more peace than you, sleeping longer than you, and feeling stronger inside, and they're not working your 9 to 5 job 40 hours a week. Charles Bukowski left his hectic post office job, and I forget what other job, but he had like a little small job. I think it was working for a little newspaper, whatever. He had a very small part-time job. He was only bringing in a couple $100 a month, y'all, because his publisher was paying him $100 per book at first, okay, per book, and he was on welfare. Now Charles Bukowski ended up, after he put in the time and the work, he ended up getting paid more. He ended up writing some stuff that became famous, and he ended up being able to afford a bungalow. And he also was left a small nest egg, small though. But the point that I'm making, and Charles Bukowski never lived rich. He lived out of a suitcase. He literally hated the way we were taught by that old generation. Okay, he talked about that. And he went against it. He went against his abusive father, his drunken, abusive father, who was not supporting his writing life and stuff. But the point that I'm making, I would have never been able to write the stuff that I've written over the last 2 years if I would have been still slaving out. I'm just saying, y'all. I'm just saying. So this is why I don't have nothing in common with that older generation. What are we going to talk about? Retirement, 9-to-5 job, retirement? No, I don't want to talk about that. What are we going to talk about? Spending up the whatever money in my bank account to pay off some outrageously expensive insurance? What are we going to talk about? Are we going to talk about Martin Luther King and all of those people that just always complained about freedom but never was willing to take the leap and say, F this? They want a slave? They're going to have to be the slave for themselves. I'm out of here. I'm going to talk about those people who couldn't do that, who wasn't brave enough to do that. No, I don't want to talk about them. Okay, I don't want to talk about them. I don't want to talk about how Billie Holiday settled for sneaking through the back door, using the back door to sing. When she could have literally just started her own blues club. She could have literally just set up some blues stuff outside. Like she didn't need the slave master's backdoor business. That was ridiculous. She basically died very poor and an alcoholic who had to sneak through back doors to perform and use the back door to always leave, when she could have easily had her shows at her own home. But the system said we need the slave master stuff, and this is how our ancestors was raised, and I don't want nothing to do with that. Okay, I don't want nothing to do with it. So I really hope y'all feel the same way I feel, and I'm sorry if I've offended people. And people say, well, you need a 9-to-5 job to survive. No, the 9-to-5 job, 40 hours a week, it gives you the high car note. It gives you the high rent that you're paying. It takes years off your life, which has been proven, okay? All the stress and you being fight or flight all day, every day, constantly in fight or flight. And your mind is not yours. You have no energy left to even be creative if you try. Okay? And you got to deal with all the toxicity. You don't own you. You're owned. You're owned. You don't even own yourself. And so I quit. I'm going to put all my energy and all my eggs into the powers that's within me. And I don't care if people say, oh, she might have lived, she might ended up in a government home and ended up like Tolkien, the lady that wrote Harry Potter before she wrote her bestseller. So what? At least I'm willing to die trying. I'm willing to die trying. Even if I die and my manuscripts get found in my project home, at least everybody say, She died knowing what it meant to be really free. She died knowing what it meant to be really free. If she died living in her car, she died knowing what it meant to be free and be able to own her mind and have the last say about her life. Life is, look, in years' time, life is much shorter than you think, and you just don't even have it to waste to work a 9 to 5 job to get things you don't need. Because that's the only reason why somebody would work 40 hours a week. They want to buy stuff that they don't need. Half the stuff people don't need. People don't need new tennis shoes every year. They need to wash their tennis shoes. People don't need a new car every couple of years. They need to take care of what they got. People don't need a fancy hairdo, expensive hairdo every other month. Okay, what they need to do is pick 1 or 2 hairstyles they can do themselves and that be it. What they need to do is just comb their hair and go outside. That's what they need to do. But people are like, I need this for this and I need that for this and that. Or else this is going to happen or people going to judge me. Guess what? The people can judge you for how you look or whatever and say you're plain, you're boring looking, whatever. But they'll never say that about your gifts. Because you will be a hit. You will be a hit. You'll be way more powerful than them. And then what gets me is everybody glamorize Steve Jobs, but why ain't nobody listening to the man? That's what get me. Half the world is like, yeah, Steve Jobs did this. We got Apple and we got cell phones. Okay, but why ain't y'all listening to him? Like, why everybody is still like, I don't really support you because you look like you're struggling. Well, Steve Jobs looked like he was struggling. Like he was a really plain looking dude. But my point is, we stay saying this person had the answers, this person did it, and this person did it, but yet we don't do what they do. Elon Musk sleeps at the office building. He said he has slept in that office building almost since the beginning before he had all that money. But everybody want to be like, oh yeah, Elon Musk is where he's a stuff, but you ain't willing to do what he's going to do. So don't hate and keep on chasing his energy. There's people that's just willing to go further than you're willing to go. How far are you willing to go? How much are you willing to let go? How long are you willing to go without spending money unless you got to? Like you really have to. How long are you willing to go where you buy all your stuff at the thrift store? Will you buy all your stuff at the thrift store for 10 years? Will you buy nothing at regular price? Will you skip lunch? Gifted people don't even care about lunch. Like y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all something. When I was writing some of my best work over the past year, which I did over the past few years, I don't remember ever eating lunch. And that's the thing. Like, 3 meals a day. Who said we need 3 meals a day? Oh yeah, the baby boomer generation said we need 3 meals a day. Y'all, all I know is that I'm done. Okay? I'm done. And I hope this video really hits y'all hard. I don't want to think about nothing else but what keeps me spiritually fed. Because if it keeps me spiritually fed, I already know I'm going to be fed every other way. That I'm going to keep a little extra money to feed myself again next month. A 9 to 5 job will always keep you starved and making you think that you're not starved. It's an illusion. I've been there, y'all. I've been there. I worked in corporate. I worked in management. I was an assistant manager. I ran my own unit at the retirement home. I've been there. And all it did was give me health problems, family problems. I missed so much time with my daughter. I could have spent way more time with her. I could have spent way more time with her if I just simply was like, okay, I got my little part-time, he got his little part-time, we got our little side hustles, and we got way more time with our daughter. But we was glamorizing that 9 to 5 work life, 40, 50 hours a week. Y'all don't need more people giving y'all advice, and I don't either. The fact that the world got to slow down, everybody's like slow living, that just tells you that we out of control. Society out of control. If people got to slow down, it means a lot of people been just chasing money because they chasing things. That's just it. I want more free time. I want more hours. I want more empty days. I want more spacious days, spacious years. Because the person can spend more time doing whatever they want and don't have to answer to nobody about it. They're actually pretty rich. They're the ones that's rich and still got their health and their body and can do things. They're rich. If you're working a little part-time job, don't leave your part-time job. These employers, they know darn well. They know that the part-time job allows you to have a side hustle or side business. They know. That's why they're real picky about who they give part-time jobs to. A part-time job is the only way to go. If you know your purpose, if you know what you're supposed to bring to this world, then why do you need more than a part-time job? Take your part-time job, get your free benefits, get your free help out there, and your nice little home that you're paying taxes for, your little government home that you're paying taxes for, so you're still paying for it, and keep it, and get your stuff under the table, and stay away from that older generation, because they will snitch you out, they will rat you out, they will tell that you're making it outside of a 9-to-5 job. And I know there's people saying, I think Ms. B didn't snap. No, Ms. B has not snapped. It has been a very peaceful day, because I don't want what the 9-to-5 job people want. The best years of my life was before I even had a 40-hour job week. When I was working only part-time and going and taking little classes in my purpose, that was the best years of my life. I was overweight, really overweight and miserable when I had a 9-to-5 job working 40, 50 hours a week. I know somebody personally who's in their 60s now. They're younger, they're still younger than the baby boomer generation. They refuse to work 40 hours a week. And they're very fit and they're in good health and they have a very free spirit. I feel like my days are so long now. I got so much time in my day. I didn't even know somebody could have so much time in their day. Some of y'all say, I don't know where the years went, because you might have been slaving. That's why. A person is living their life and their days the way they want to. They know where the years went. They know. When they're living a life that's free and happy, they know where the years went. Y'all. I'm having me some soup, y'all. See, that's what I had. This is what I had when I went for lunch. I have soup, and tea. I don't do that lunch stuff no more. I just feel like it's a necessary cooking and a necessary eating. Like a big lunch, like a full course lunch meal, like the baby boomers tell us to eat. Like, it's like, no, I don't want that. All right, y'all. I hope that this actually moves some of y'all. And if you're offended, I know some of y'all are offended. Okay, and I don't know what to tell you. Okay, I just don't feel like I got anything in common with a lot of people over 55. Over 50 too. I'm not even 50. Like I don't think I got much in common with them. I tried. I tried talking to people over 55, and all they want to talk about is glamorizing stuff that's not an asset. Things that is a debit. They want me to like praise them for their debits. And I'm like, I'm not praising you for debits. I'm not praising you for just collecting debits and you have no other mission. You're just sitting back in your debits and you're not doing that else in society. You're just like, oh, I'm retired. No, you're actually not retired. There is no retiring when you have a service. When you have a service and it's what you're called to do, why would you ever want to retire? That's how you know. If you feel like you retire from your job, then you know that you're not doing what you're called to do. Nothing can make me retire from writing and painting and drawing and hiking. Nothing can make me retire from that. I'm gonna be an 80-year-old still going on hikes around the world. The point that I'm saying is that's how I know what they're doing. It's not what I should be doing. Like I shouldn't be listening to them. They're retired. Y'all, I'm gonna be a 90-year-old still journaling, still writing my poetry, my prose, and my short stories. I'm still, if I can't use my hands, I'm gonna be doing it on audio recordings. I'm gonna still be writing songs. I'm a good songwriter and a poet. I'm still be playing with my watercolor and my paints. Period. I'm gonna still be doing writing exercises. There is no retirement. If I retire, that's that. Let me tell you, people always say they're afraid to die. They're scared they're gonna die tomorrow, or that today might be their last day. You're not even worried about today being your last day if you were doing what you were supposed to do and not because the Matrix told you to do it. Okay, I don't think about death and I don't worry about my life falling to pieces or death when I'm in here writing, when I'm in here singing a little bit, when I'm in here painting or drawing. That's far from my mind. Okay? It's far from my mind about how much time I got left. I don't say, oh, I only got 30, 40 years of my life. That's not long. Half my life is over. I'm just so excited that I am doing this again. Like, wow. I get to learn more about it. I'm about to sit down and study this book that's in my Kindle. It's another book on the craft of writing. I've been meaning to turn into a course and just study it and highlight it and practice little things it's saying in it. And I feel like it's the best Christmas gift ever. Like, I feel like the fact that I woke up today and I could do that, it's like, wow. I never said, praise God, I'm going to my 9-to-5 job. I never woke up in that energy. I never went to bed and said, God, please let me wake up to go to this 9-to-5 job tomorrow. I never had that energy, okay? I never sat there and said, I'm fantasizing about how glamorous the 9-to-5 job is. I never had that in my fantasies. That's how you know. If it's not in your fantasies, then you know that you're a slave doing it, okay? If it's not a part of your daydreams and your fantasies, you know that you're doing a slave job. Oh, this is deep. I tell people they don't know what they're supposed to do in this world. What are you fantasizing about? I don't mean cars and houses. What do you fantasize about you doing? What are your dreams made of? My dreams is made of art, writing, songs. There's singers in my dreams. There's literature in my dreams. There's book sales in my dreams. There's choirs singing songs that somebody wrote. That's what's in my dreams. Okay, those are my good dreams. Like when I close my sleep at night and I dream at night, those be my dreams. Okay, when I When I feel like times are really taking a toll on me, my dreams will tell me, when's the last time you wrote? When's the last time you did something artistic? So that's how I know that if I do anything else, I'm a robot. I'm gonna just be a robot. If I put anything else 95% of the time before my writing life, I'm basically signing up to be a robot. I'm a Stepford wife. I'll be a Stepford wife. Like the movie Stepford Wives. Yeah. People love to say I'm not no robot. You are a robot if you ain't living your fantasies. Like the movie Never Ending Story. If you like, I gotta keep my feet on the ground. Your feet is on the ground when you live in your fantasies. Your feet's on the ground. If you know your fantasies is of you, what you know helps you get the deepest sleep, keep the nightmares away. I don't get disturbed by demons and have demonic things happening to me when I'm pursuing my mission. It's almost like the negative energy on the other side. No, it can't get to me because I'm too protected because I'm doing my mission. Anytime I skip a few days and I don't write, I can feel negative energy getting closer and closer to me. And that lets me know that you're vulnerable when you're not doing what you know your soul wants to do. You're vulnerable. You're spiritual and energetically vulnerable. And when you say some people got an air about them where they're so unbothered, they have this sense that they're not bothered, that's because they are living their fantasies in secret and private. You just don't know they are. But people love to say somebody acting bothered is narcissistic. They're arrogant. They're detached. No, they're not detached. They're just grounded in their fantasies. They're so grounded because they're so focused on their fantasies and their mission that they could care less about what you think of them or what you got to say about them, and they just don't see. They don't see that you're any more special to them, and they don't care about catering to your energy because they have a mission to cater to. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like, it's optional for me to cater to anybody's energy now. Because I have a type of confidence. I have a type of confidence that I never knew that I could have. And every time I sit down with that pen and I'm a writing beast, I know can't nobody tell me I ain't favored. Can't nobody tell me I ain't favored. It don't matter about my afro, my body type, body shape. I sit down and I'm a writing unstoppable beast. So much so that every workshop that I go into, the other students and the host say, how did you do that? How did you write that? How was you able to write that in 10 minutes? When you access what your mission is, when you learn the skills, it'll be effortlessly to learn the skills in it, and then it'll be almost like your metaphysical self has awakened. Okay, it'll be like the Avatar, where he awakened in his true body. Okay, that's what will happen to you when you have sent the signal to your true metaphysical self to step to the surface of your body through you doing your service. It's service, the service of it on a regular basis. You will have superhuman, superpower abilities that the majority will wonder how you're doing it. Okay? Your mission is to remind you of how special you are, how favored you are when everybody try to tell you you ain't. When people try to say, well, you look masculine, or you look old, or you are fat, or this and that, you can always say, but I'm still special. Because what I do proves I'm special. How I do it proves I'm special. When I close my eyes at night and I need a weapon against the haters, I say, oh, my writing. I I'm exceptional in that. Ha ha ha, haters. Okay, nice try. But the point that I'm making, don't y'all want to feel that way? But if you are chasing what the baby boomers are chasing, you'll never get your metaphysical self like the phoenix rising. It'll never get to that point because you won't have the time, you won't have the energy, you won't even have the belief system deep in the core of your heart. You won't even have it that deep. You'll have a love-hate relationship with your own purpose because you can't keep the fire going, like Earl Nightingale say, and the rest of you can't keep the fire going. You got somebody taking the fire to keep their fire going. Your employer is taking your fire of your soul mission to keep their fire going. They're taking your wood. You're gathering wood for their fire, for them to rise. And then you go to sit down and you write and you say, maybe I'm not called to do this. Or maybe I'm not, maybe even though you know you can't stop doing it, you can't quit. But you tell yourself, maybe I'm not born to do this. The only reason why you say that is because you don't have enough wood for your fire to keep it going, or the wood that you're working with is dried, it's rotted, or it's pine wood. It's not serving the pit of your purpose. So that's why you feel that way. Because I know I felt that way. I couldn't stop writing, but I kept saying, well, maybe I'm not. Why is this such a slow growth? Why is this? What is this? How come I can't retain the information? But yet I know I can't stop doing this. I couldn't retain it because whenever the sparks would come, the employer was taking the wood and was basically throwing ashes on my sparks, putting it out every time I got them. Hi, everybody. There's so much I want to talk about this topic, but I'm going to save it for my new channel, okay, y'all? I told y'all I'll put one or two videos up a week on this channel just so y'all keep it. But y'all, I can't put my energy on this channel no more. The season is over. So I'm only putting videos up on this just so y'all don't lose all those abundant videos. Because from what I found out, there's some YouTube channels being deleted. YouTube been deleting channels over the last 30 days. Like big channels. People that are bringing in big money is seeing that their channels are being deleted. And a lot of the channels that are being deleted are the ones where people are cursing and fighting and fighting with other YouTubers and all of that. So this is why I'm not going to be on video, since there's so much hate towards older, middle-aged women of color. I don't even want that energy on this channel no more. Okay, I already know that there's people here that's trying to get this channel deleted because they're jealous of my power, of what I know. There's some men on here that took my content and made books out of it and ripped me off. Why? Because they're mad. They think that I shouldn't have this information. And they don't want to sabotage the channel because then they'll look like a hater. So what they do is just take my content. But I really don't care. At this point, I don't care because I could always publish my content again in other forms. And I can always prove through my videos that I was the first to have it anyway. And if I want to sue, I'll sue. See, this is the point that y'all got to get out as well. When people try to take your destiny and all that, just be like, if I get tired of it, I could always sue. I could take them to small claims court. I could take them to Judge Judy. I could post the original and compare it to theirs so everybody know how fake they are. But I don't have to come at them on YouTube. I don't have to say their name out my mouth. Until I'm ready to take them down legally, I don't care. I don't really care. But at the same time, I already know that some people try to take your destiny to your face. They want you to come for them if they're favored by the matrix, because they want to get you deleted so then they can sit around and just be you. But see, guess what? Half the people who thought they were going to take my destiny, from what I hear on these platforms, they're all suffering. From what I've seen and what I hear, my scriptures are still abundant numbers. So when I went to go glance at all the people that have been shape shifting in me, they're suffering right now. They're suffering. They thought they could just keep doing it on this platform. They thought they can keep being slick. And now the creator has brought them their karma. And I told everybody, April through June is karma season. And February can be karma too. But April's not to be played with. If you want to sit up there and sit up there and think you're entitled to rip people off, I'm talking to anybody who's thinking about ripping me off. You might get away with it for a while. But as soon as that October come, and as soon as April come back around, the bill's going to be paid. Okay? You got to pay. And I tell everybody, when people rip other people off, they don't stay humble. And their lack of humbleness is how the karma comes for them stronger. This is why it's so important to not let temptation make you want to copy anybody. Your lack of humbleness will push people away, will get you fired, will get your channel deleted. The fact that you sit up there screaming and hollering and cursing and thinking you can talk about anybody like a dog and stuff because you think you're so covered in favor because you didn't stole somebody's destiny. Soon as you find it, all your videos rock bottom, your numbers ain't abundant, you're not creating nothing off of YouTube, nobody's sending you nothing to your Cash App, family ain't giving you nothing, and you wonder why everything's falling apart. It's because your lack of humbleness triggered the karma. Okay? When you did not humble yourself to get the download and the power, there's no way you're going to be humble when you go to deliver it. This is deep. This is deep, y'all. There's no way you're going to be humble when you go to deliver it. And people are always checking for humbleness, okay? When you are powerful, when you claim that what you're doing came from God and not you didn't steal it, you didn't shapeshift, people will always check to see if you're genuinely humble. Even the employers, HR, they definitely want you humble. And the more when somebody think they got away with stealing somebody's destiny all the time, they start coming for anybody. They start thinking they invincible. The money came too fast. They weren't in the desert enough to be humble so they can respect other people's energy. Soon as I sense that I'm slipping out of humbleness, I go off into the mountains like the Harry Potter lady at Lord of the Rings wizard lady said, and go be glad. That's what I do. If I feel like I've been spending so much of my money that I got through my powers, and it's been pulling me out of humbleness, I shut everything down. I just shut everything down. I will literally go up in a room in my house, and I'll be in there for 3-4 days until the humbleness is strong again. My family members will tell you, I'll be in there 6 days to the point where they'll be like, "Are you okay? You ain't talking to nobody. You ain't talked to me in 6 days. What's going on?" And I'll just say a few words like, I gotta just disconnect from society because I'm not good. I'm not good for society right now. I'm not good for society. Like my humbleness level is not strong enough. I gotta go ahead and fall back up in this room. And it'd be so weird because my family members think that I'm going to do something crazy, that I'm in there losing my mind or something. But I already know that if I don't do that, then I'm just going to be less and less humble, and then I'm going to say do something disrespectful to society that's going to generate some negative karma that might even hurt my funds and my health. Okay, and then next thing you know, I'm bringing bad karma on everybody that comes through the crib. Because karma is contagious. Negative karma is contagious. And it's like people don't see that. This is why you got to be careful who you marry. Careful who you have as friends. If you feel like you've been real messy with your energy, it's better to just fall back from everybody because you do not need to be spreading that negative karma. I know this is deep, y'all. I know this is deep. This is why I shut down. I said only thing I'm allowed to spend some time for the next 2 months is maybe an $8 breakfast meal. I'm wearing sneakers I wore 5 years ago, y'all. I said I felt spell work on my humble energy. And it's this one person that keeps on trying to push me out of the humble energy. It's like they know that that's how they can ruin my life. So I had to block this person on my phone and literally just shut down. I had to tell them I'm not spending money out in these streets on wicked things for you to do wicked stuff. And I don't want to. I told them I said don't text me talking about people. Because they like to text me and they like to call me talking about people. I said, don't call me no more talking about people. I said, don't call me no more bragging either. I don't do bragging sessions and I don't do gossip about people. So I guess that triggered them. So now we ain't speaking. I'm like, okay, good. I guess we ain't going to speak forever. So they obviously think that I think I'm better than them. But if anything, they think they're better than me and everybody else because they think they have the right to brag in my ear. Y'all, the stuff is deep. Y'all, I'm not even really talking to my husband all like that right now because he didn't lost his humbleness. He didn't got a car. He didn't got a car for free from his brother, and he flipped right into some arrogance where he don't want to share the car. He don't want to share the car with trustworthy family members. He's being selfish and cocky. And it's like, and now I'm not judging him. He's actually demonstrating this to me. His attitude stinks and he's acting smuggish. And I told him, I said, I can't be around your energy. Okay, brah? I can't be around that. Because he doesn't know that I'm supposed to end up with a car and all that stuff. So when he's throwing smuggish attitude and cocky, disrespectful demeanor towards me, because he got a newer car and he got a new car, basically a decent car from his brother for free. When he throws that attitude at me, he doesn't even know that he's generating bad karma. He doesn't know that because he doesn't know that I'm fated. That's why I always get cars. Like even when I might go a year without a car at the longest, and all of a sudden another car come because it's in my destiny to have a car because I have to travel to do the work I'm doing. I have to go overseas. I have to be able to go places to research for my books. So the creator always tries to make sure that I have reliable transportation. So when he gets negative and smuggish about his car, he doesn't know that the creator pulls him in judgment for that. And I told him, I said, you're bringing negative karma into this household, being smuggish about your car. That's not the business. Hi, everybody. Y'all see I'm sharing some of my life so y'all can understand. A lot of people tell you don't share your personal business, But it helps for sometimes so people can see that they ain't the only ones going through it, and you can get people to understand the lesson through sharing your life. And I noticed that every time my family members get sluggish and attitude and cocky, something happens to a blessing that they get. Like, I noticed it. Like, whenever they get that way towards me, something literally happens to them. And I told them, y'all don't see that this keeps happening to y'all? Did your car go down within weeks after you had an attitude with me? Because, see, let me tell y'all. The hardest thing to do in this world now is to keep your mind empty of negative thoughts about people, even when they are wronging you. To keep your mind from hateful thoughts and cursing people, even when they are wronging you. A lot of people want to wrong people in secret now because they think they can hide away in these cribs during the walk off the 9-to-5 job era, and they can just do this stuff in secret. But they don't realize that the energy is still being released. The script of their mind energy is being released. The more they whisper to themselves, the more they talk about you in Texas and the people, the more they sit up there with their little secret groups in people's cribs talking about you, that energy is still being released. And because you're not releasing that energy, matching that energy, then their energy has to go right back to them, rather than both of you hitting the wall energetically. They're going to hit the wall energetically. You're not. So even when he was being sluggish about his car, I didn't say, well, I'm better than him. I didn't talk down him. I didn't say that in my mind. I just said, I hope he stops, because something's going to happen if he doesn't stop. That's what I said. I ain't say nothing bad. I ain't say, ooh, he did this and that. I hope he paid for this. Nothing. Y'all, I don't even ask the creator to pay. I don't even say to the creator anymore. I hope they pay for this stuff. I don't even say that no more, because it's like I get to see how they pay for it. Always do. Yeah, I just saw somebody on YouTube, and I didn't already set their name. They were running off with my money for the past year. Coming to this channel, repeating what I'm saying, getting my donations by hijacking the algorithm out from me at 3 o'clock. So I would show up at 9 a.m. and give y'all downloads. They would get on at 3 a.m. at peak time and repeat what I said and get my money. Now, they was doing this since almost going on 2 years. What did the creator do? Delete their channel. No lie. No lie. No lie. They was leaving me in the dust with those views at peak time because they was in the male community, and they know the male community is dominant on YouTube, and they was taking advantage of that and using my downloads. And that giving me credit. And I gave them money. When I went to their channel 2 years ago, I said, before they started taking my downloads, I was sending them donations. I was like, I want your channel to grow, all that type of stuff. But they got greedy. They started coming to my channel to put my content on their channel. And the creator said, no. Okay? See, Divine Ones, nobody gets to take money from you and support and then run around and be you and act like you. The creator will be ruthless to those people. That, you know how they say the wrath of God? They will experience a wrath. Okay? People better stop thinking they can take money and service from Divine Ones and then parade around here trying to say they them. Then they wonder why something real bad happens to them. And I didn't even say, well, I hope his channel never get off the ground again. I didn't say that. I just said, I hope he doesn't do it again, or it's going to be something else to happen. Okay? People started reporting his channel. He thought because he could get away with what he did to me, he could get away with it with anybody. And as a collective of Divine Ones, the energy of other divine ones of mine literally brought his channel down to its knees. And his channels got deleted. Got deleted. His little warlock energy got vanquished by several divine ones who were saying, God, please stop this guy. Stop this guy from doing this to us. Just stop him from doing it. And he got stopped. See, let me tell you, this is something I learned about YouTube. Just because your channel views go down don't mean YouTube's not for you. Okay? YouTube could still be for you, but not in the way that you think it's for you. YouTube can be for you in a way that you don't see, because you're not looking at the big picture. But when somebody continues to get in your way on YouTube gonna get tired of that. Okay? YouTube gonna get tired of that and hold that channel in judgment. Okay? So for example, when I talk about wicked things and wicked people, and I plan to have a whole channel where that's all I do is I just come for the wicked. Okay? All right, because I'm supposed to do that. It's in my fortune. It's in my fortune, and it's also connected to my life purpose. Because you're non-traditional. I'm a Libra rising, which means I'm a high priestess. I wake up a priestess, and I just got to protect my high priestess energy. So the point that I'm making is, as we know, ministers and priests, they exorcise the demons. They get the demons, they reveal the demons, they come after the demons. And they know they have access to a lot of secret wicked society stuff and demonology. So the point I'm making is, I notice that when I focus on that, YouTube promotes my videos. This algorithm, I think, is also supernatural, y'all. I don't think this algorithm is all mechanical. I think it's AI with a consciousness. I think it has now evolved where it has a consciousness. It's actually connected to the metaphysical space, y'all. How else would it know? How else would it know to promote me in something that is actually related to my life purpose? How else would it know that? Hi, Divine. I mean, anybody else is starting to realize that the algorithm seems like it has consciousness now? I'm not hating on it, but if it now is, I think that, or if it doesn't have consciousness in itself, I think that angels can actually enter in the algorithm. They can actually control the algorithm. The Holy Spirit can control the algorithm for certain people, when certain people are in alignment with their true spiritual purpose. So I think that people need to stop complaining about what YouTube's not giving you and ask yourself, are you really doing your purpose? Because the algorithm can sense your energy and your frequency. It can sense it. It can sense whether your frequency is authentic. You cannot trick this algorithm. And this is what I tell people. You can show up fake as you want to be, but the algorithm will start to pick up that you're fake, and it will bring your channel to its knees, where it'll make sure that your videos don't get to people who have donated to you already. It knows who donated to you, who talks to you all the time in the chats, in live chats. It knows this. It won't send your videos to those people because it knows that your undercurrent of your energy is fake. It knows this. Exactly. It's assessing your speech patterns to see if you're fake, to see if if you're trying hard and whether it's an actual natural thing that you're doing. So, for example, when I talk about relationship things, family matters, demonology, wicked stuff, the algorithm will push the hell out of my channel. Okay? Push those videos. When I noticed it was pushing my writing videos. All my videos, it was related to writing. I had one video on the craft of writing that actually went like viral. And then also when I talk about aging and death and stuff on here, YouTube pushes that. Now I know y'all think, well, YouTube likes the dark stuff. It doesn't push everybody's videos who do that, y'all. There's other people talking about family stuff. They ain't getting no views. Their videos are not popping up on the front page. But when I do it, I go to YouTube the next day or the later that day, and my video's on the front page. It's in the news feed. So what I'm saying is, when people go to your, and I'm saying this because this is a wonderful time to start a new YouTube. Okay, my scripture's been telling me in my soul the last few days, if you're going to take a leap and start a new business, this is the time to do it. Okay? If you've been thinking about setting up multiple YouTubes, multiple resources to help society, this is the day to do it. This is the week to do it. But to put your money, invest in multiple streams of income. This is the time to do it. Being spontaneous, like I got this business, I'm doing this business, I'm doing that business. Now, when people say, well, I heard you're covered in favor with that, Miss B, so I'm going to do that. The point is, the algorithm knows where you've been. YouTube algorithm knows whose videos you've been watching. It knows whose channel you're on. So when you think you can get around that, it might let you get away with it for a while, just to get some money. But then after a while, it's going to say, get up out of here, because you're starting to be too much in the way of the person that we know is meant to do this. The algorithm has said you're meant for this, and this person's meant for this. So we gave you some time to stop, but you keep doing it. Okay. So I'm gonna bring your channel to its knees. I'll let you get a little bit of money, let you get a little bit of views, but you don't want to stop. You got greedy. The creator don't like a greedy thief. A creator can't stand a thief, especially not one that's greedy. A hog thief, that's going into the deepest part of hell. You basically just chilling with the devil near the lake of fire if you're a hog thief. You ever hear the saying, help yourself but don't take too much? People are helping themselves and taking way too much now, and then want to complain when judgment comes for them. Hey. And then this whole, well, I redefined and I reworked it and I did that, so I'm good. There is no redefinition that you can give that the angels don't know already. Okay? You can't redefine what somebody's doing and the Holy Spirit don't know that you did it. Like there is a coding around us. There's an intellectual field around us with the genuine article. Okay? And of course there's other dimensional fake reality versions of it, of the false the manipulation of that knowledge. But the angels know those dimensions. They are infinite. They could go through any fake reality, watercolor reality. They know all that. So when people think that, I got away with it, I got away with it, I redefined it, I reworked it, I put my own spin on it, I said only 3 words, and that way. Then when they get judged, they say, I didn't do no wrong. Yes, you did. You tried to trick this Holy Spirit. You're not tricking them. Y'all. And you'll actually get more. People don't realize you get more when you give credit. The creator will give you, sometimes you're rewarded for acknowledging their original. Like, so for example, when I started acknowledging how Bill Collins has had an amazing impact on my creative growth, my writing growth, all of a sudden I started to understand his work more. All of a sudden, I got some sort of metaphor writing skill that I didn't have before. This is a true story. When I started, see, here's what people don't understand. Divine means it's just divine. You don't have to be dead to be divine. So when you acknowledge divine ones, and you acknowledge their positive influence on you, you may be granted access to downloads that they have access to. You may be granted power levels that they have. You may actually be able to get a power that their consciousness have. You may also be able to understand their artistic form of their work, the form of their art. All of a sudden you understand and you don't know how. Because you was touched by the same Holy Spirits that's been touching them as a reward for giving gratitude. Y'all, I'm telling you. I'm eating soup, y'all. Exactly. They think they can rob God. It's like, really? Really? You know, how many celebrities do y'all know? Okay? That ended up suffering because they thought they can get away with, you know, taking pieces of other people's stars like J-Lo did. I think she did that to Ashanti. I think it was Ashanti. There's a long list of celebrities that's been hijacking other people's destinies, and then when they suffer, they want to act like, oh, why am I going through this? Well, you know what you were doing. You know what you were doing. All these people trying to get other people's destinies is disgusting. And then want to complain about their life. You know, I'm not gonna name all the celebrities, but some of the celebrities that everybody's talking about on YouTube, no. I can sense it in their energy. They're shape-shifting into other people's destinies. Anybody ever notice how Rihanna keeps changing her style? Y'all think all because she's a model? A lot of the celebrities nowadays are trying to get the energy of anybody that's chosen for success that month. They're still in energy, y'all. They're energy vampires. So they change their look and identity to shapeshift to steal the energy. They changing their style, their hair every month, y'all. It's wild. Like looking like a whole different person from month to month. Acting different too. People are like people don't even notice it. Right? And then they want to get mad. Yeah. Here's the thing. Your soul is built for the struggle. Your soul has already had training for the struggle of your destiny. It's already been trained to take it. When someone tries to be you, they ain't been trained energetically yet. They ain't been trained, okay? So what ends up happening is they like, this is hell. This is taking a toll on me. This desert is rough. And it's like, well, you ain't trained. You know, you ain't trained. Spiritually, you have not been trained. Exactly. Keep the attention on them. They don't want to accept that their season, that it's not their season for the abundance to flow in so fast to them. They don't want to accept that. That's why they keep changing identities, personalities, all that type of stuff. Style, clothing keep changing. They don't want to accept that this is this month or this spring. It's their time to work with what they got. It's their time to be grateful of the $200 million that they got. They don't want to accept that. They wanted to date. It's almost like they got so at some point. Can I tell y'all something? This is the truth, y'all. God do not make billionaires. God makes millionaires. Now I know some of y'all gonna argue with me about this. Okay? Why would God make billionaires? Why would God want somebody to have that much power over other humans? Billionaire? No. No. Billionaires are people who have been leeching off other people's energy so long, so many people's energy, that's why they're a billionaire. God makes millionaires because millionaire, you can live really well and still maintain some humbleness to you without much effort. But not if you're a billionaire, y'all. Not if you're a billionaire. This is why Bill Gates keeps saying he's giving all his money away. He's not leaving much to his kids because he knows darn well, all right, that it has not benefited him as a person. He knows this. You know, him being able to afford the best investors, stock people to tell him when to do the stocks, tell him, see, when you become a millionaire, when you have like 20 million or 50 million, you're not so ahead of most of the people in the world that you can pay all these different people to rig the system to get extra money more than everybody else, more the majority of people. But when you become a billionaire, you can. Yeah. That a billionaire money is actually, some of that money is not theirs, y'all. I'm telling you no lie. Some of that money belongs to other people. They are not supposed to have that money. They was doing a lot of shape-shifting witchcraft, had a lot of slaves or a whole lot of paying people on the inside to give them information, paying for geniuses to give them information, leeching off other people's destinies to keep getting the money, so that they can quickly become a billionaire. Nobody, no human on this earth needs $1 billion. No human on this earth needs that. And frankly, that's just insane to be just sitting around. Yeah, I'm a billionaire. Yeah, and I'm just gonna sit on the billions. That's ridiculous. Like if you become a billionaire from your talent, okay, they ain't becoming billionaire from talent alone. They're becoming billionaires because they're also shape-shifting. But when they do get them billions, they should be then putting that money out there for other people to become millionaires. They should be like, I'm going to take a couple of this billion and help other people become millionaires. But they're not doing that. They're just trying to be like more billionaire. This is why I stopped buying Rihanna stuff. I won't buy her stuff. I won't watch her videos. She could do volunteer work all she want, but how many people she put her money into to become millionaires who are singers and songwriters? How many young new singers is she putting $1 million on? She's not, y'all. So I'll keep my money. I don't give billionaires money unless I have no choice to. If you are a minority or of color, stop giving your money to billionaires when you don't have to. Okay, because they a lot of them, they're not. Um, you don't see them running. You don't see them running to give your community $1 million. You don't see them running to do it. And people love to say, "Well, that's from hard work." What hard work? Witchcraft? Doing witchcraft? Switching identities and image? Copying and doing copyright theft and all type of weird stuff? That don't sound like hard work to me. Hi, everybody. No, I'm good. Really, I'd rather give my money to somebody. Really, I'd rather put money on somebody that's climbing rather than somebody that's already a billionaire or got well over 100 million. I don't want to put money on them no more. And half of them, the reason why they need you to put money on them, because they've been living well above their millionaire means. They've been living well above it, and now they're stuck and trapped in a ridiculously amount of debt. And they have a contract. They just signed their contract for 10 years to be a puppet. And they want to keep shape-shifting to become a multi-millionaire so they can buy their way out of their contracts that they made with the devil. Demonic managers and stuff. They shouldn't have been wanting money that bad. They shouldn't have been wanting to get rich that bad. I'm not signing no contract where somebody owns me for 10 years. All because I want a chance to get rich. That's ridiculous. I mean, whatever witchcraft, dark art they tell me to do so they can get rich off of me before they release me from the contract, I'm going to have to do. No, I'm having me some soup. It is so good, this wedding soup. I didn't even feel like... Yeah, I'm having this wedding soup here. Oh, it's crazy. And then they want to sit there and say, well, there's a poverty crisis. No, there's a greedy crisis. there's a greedy crisis. There's a dark art, money hungry crisis in society. there's a dark witch and warlock witch crisis in society. There's starting to be too many of them and high and in secret and too active. And right before our eyes and think we don't know who they are. Y'all, video's funny. Yeah, there's plenty of money. Everybody in the world can literally be sitting on 2 million, 3 million. The problem is the government keeps letting these people hoard the money. Like, I really think that the government needs to have a limit on how much money somebody can keep stored away. Like, I think the government needs to be like, nope, every human being can have 40 million, 50 million, that's it, 50 million. There's no way you can spend 50 billion in your life unless you're trying like going buck wild. Okay, we might, if you put 10 years into your mission, okay, maybe 100 million. But nah, if it gets over that, no. You got to put 100. For every 100 million you make after that, you got to put 20 million into society. Find a way. I bet you any money, there'll be more rich people out here. There'll be more people at least making over a couple 100,000 a year. It's really messed up. It's really messed up that these people are allowed to just sit with $1 billion, with 20 billion and 10 billion in their bank account like that. That's crazy. That's why I know. That's hearing and this is how I know it's wicked. In Egypt times, there was just maybe like King Tut. King Tut only had about 100 million. He had no more than $200 million. That was considered rich then. Okay, that was considered having a lot of money. But now these people like, I want 500 million in my bank account, and it's like, wow, woo, and it's like multiple, plenty of millionaires. It's like something evil is going here. This is actually worse than Egypt did. Like, this is worse than Egypt because we have way more resources, okay, and there's way more access to each other. Cities and countries can access each other's energy real quick now. Real quick with a press of a button on the internet. One press of a button on the internet. So, okay, but why are there still so many more poor people than Egypt? Y'all, I'm just saying, y'all. Yeah, that don't make no sense. That don't make no sense at all. And people love to say Egypt was evil. No, this is eviler than Egypt, because even King Tut's high priestesses, they was making at least $100,000 a year. Okay, and they was just sitting up there giving advice. You can be somebody to give advice to your employer, and you'll still only make $25,000 a year. This is more evil than Egypt. Okay, we want to sit there and say people better be glad because it could be back in Egypt times. Actually, in Egypt times, they might have had small apartments, but they were paid enough to eat and survive. They was able to even afford a grave. Okay, they was able to bury their loved ones in the sand. And off labor jobs, they were still able to afford a funeral. Every Egyptian was able to afford to bury their dead working a labor job. You can't afford to bury your dead on a labor job nowadays. You're not stocking boxes at Walmart and being able to afford a $10,000 funeral, because the average funeral costs $10. Okay, $10,000. $10,000. I did enough funerals to know. $10,000 for a basic to decent funeral, and that does not include the tombstone. Does not include the tombstone. Okay, I went with my mother. With my mother for her funeral, we went with a very generous what you call, I forget what they call it, undertaker. Generous one, okay? And one of the most affordable in the state. And he frankly told us, he said, funerals are now for the rich. He said, I tell everybody, unless you are rich, he said, even me, and I own a funeral home. He said, unless you are rich, cremate your family and have their service at your house and go about your way. He said, because it's just, and he was getting, he had buried, we had buried several family members through him. So that's why he was able to really work with us. But the point that I'm making is, when the average human being on this earth, most people can't even afford a basic funeral where the person just at least go in the dirt. This is worse than Egypt. Okay? This is worse than Egypt. I watched all the Egypt documentaries, all of them. I did like a 5-hour marathon. Okay? They didn't have to wear faded clothes. Assistant managers of pharaohs, the knights, the people that worked the land, they didn't have to wear faded clothes. They didn't have to wear real cheap clothing. Nowadays, you can work at 50,000. You can make $50,000 a year, and because of the rent and the price of food, you're wearing clothes from the Goodwill. We don't need any more protests about gender wars and race wars. We need protests about the flow of money. If we was going to tear America down, that's what we should have tore America down over. Like, serious. That's what everybody should have took to the streets. That's what, if they were going to storm the Capitol, that's what they should have stormed the Capitol over. Literally being financially ripped off to the 10th degree. But they know that we are still brainwashed and thinking that, well, at least we're not in Egypt times and in medieval times, so we're doing okay. No. A lot of people who was real poor, like a homeless man type of poor, back in them times, was because they couldn't find work. Because they could not find work. But you could find work nowadays and still be living in your car. You could find work nowadays and still have to live in an abandoned building somewhere. And that is just very sad. And however, though, when they did have kings and queens that was greedy and ripping the community off, like Antoinette, who said, "Let them eat cake," her butt. At least the community was like, "No, we ain't taking this." They stood up and threw tomatoes at her. But nowadays, people are like, "Okay, I'm okay. I'm just going to go ahead and deal with this." And it's like people are afraid that someone's going to say, "You're just lazy. You're ungrateful. Why are you protesting about the wages? You're just ungrateful. I'm making it. Why ain't you making it?" But meanwhile, back at the ranch, they're not reporting some of their income, or they got 3 people in their home pulling some of the weight, or they sleeping with their boss to get a higher pay. Or they're living off money that they worked out, slaved husband left them in their retirement fund. And it's like, no, you sitting on grandma's nest egg from the 1950s. And you sitting up there saying, "Well, get a job." Well, no, because you living off some old money. Okay, period. No. If you ain't got nobody to leave you no money, no house or no property, then you know just how corrupted this system is. Oh, you know just how much it doesn't care about you financially. If you don't have a grandma to live off for free, if you don't have a husband who willing to be a slave dog 70 hours a week as a doctor, only get 5 hours of sleep just to be able to keep debt collectors from coming after y'all. If you don't have something like that, then you know just how corrupted this system is. Because I got 2 family members that's making $100,000 a year, and they can only go places twice a year. And they're living in their apartment is super small, but super expensive. So that just goes to show, if they both wasn't working and bringing in at least $100,000, they'd probably be living in a project somewhere, or living in some really bug infested type of place or something of that nature. And then it cracks me up when people with kids sit up there and say, it's not that hard. I'm like, boo, you're getting child support, disability probably for one of those kids, Social Security benefits probably for one of those kids. Come on now. And you qualify for Section 8 too. We ain't on the same level with the system. You don't get to tell me it's not that hard. Come to me when them kids is grown and they move out your house. And I want to hear you say the same thing. When their child support checks ain't in your name no more. When their disability, when their Social Security disability from their dead parents run out because they're over 18. When their disability checks is in their name and they're not giving you none of their money because they moved out. Then you come and tell me how easy it is. Exactly. You know what's wild? A regular apartment is now considered a luxury apartment. A basic apartment is now considered a luxury apartment. I was looking at the apartment that I lived in when my daughter was a toddler. And I said, that apartment today will be considered a luxury apartment. Even though it is very basic though. Woo. An apartment where everything works and nothing's cracked. There's no stained up carpets. There's no holes in the wall. You know, there's everything works and stuff. That's considered a luxury apartment now. I know somebody on this channel who had 3 kids, and yet only thing they was able to afford was a roach infested apartment that was run down, and they had to move in with a family member. Sad. I'm like, really? They taking care of disabled kids with special needs, and they're being forced to live in a roach-infested, rundown apartment in a dangerous neighborhood. Y'all, that's disgusting, y'all. That is so damn disrespectful. I would have been raised in all kind of hell. That's why that's why I didn't have no more kids. When I thought when the landlord started acting like living in his apartments was like luxury, and the state took the apartments from the landlord. Okay? Because the landlord couldn't even afford to charge us the same rent anymore because all his bills went up. All his own bills went up. And I guess he didn't want to let us know that we're going to have to pay double rent or get evicted. So I guess he tried to make the whole situation work and it didn't work out. So he ended up losing the property. And the state took it. And the state said they didn't want us living in it. Even though there was no damage to the property property was flawless. Basically, they wanted all new tenants in that building. And they wanted to be able to raise the price. See, they couldn't raise the price since we were living in it already. They knew they would have to charge us for the rest of that year the price that was already the original lease price until that lease was up. So they found a loophole in the law. Their attorney found a loophole that said in order for them to start a new lease, with the rent higher, they would have to kick us out. And they can't kick us out since they are a new landlord. They're not the original landlord. So because they was a new landlord, the state, they was able to only give us a 24-hour notice. The law says when the state takes a property and they're the landlord, they don't have to give a 30-day notice. So they didn't care if they put us out Even though we was good tenants, the property was flawless. They didn't care if they put us out with a 2-year-old with no 30-day notice. They wanted to raise that rent that bad. That bad, y'all. All they cared about was being able to get more money. Because according to the standard apartment fees nowadays, our apartment was now labeled a luxury apartment. Y'all. Yeah. So we ended up living in an apartment that was way under luxury. Okay, but paying the price that we would pay for a basic apartment, for the apartment we already had, that the state took because of the landlord, that was now considered luxury. So even though we weren't living in old project government housing, we may as well have been, according to our apartment. According to our apartment. The kitchen hadn't even been updated in like 25, 30 years. Yep, that's what happened. Me and my husband and our daughter got evicted in 24 hours out the blue. All of a sudden, there was a notice on our door that said, you got 24 hours to move out, or the sheriff will move you out. And when it got down to the last hour, the sheriff knocked on our door and said, I'm sorry to have to do this. I hate to do this, but y'all gotta get on out. And I said, we're almost done packing up. And I was arguing with the sheriff, and he did not give me an attitude because he knew it was real foul, but all they cared about was their money. We wasn't behind on our rent or nothing. If they would have gave us 30 days, we would have heard back on our mortgage, and we would have had that house that we were going after. We needed at least 30 days. But because they didn't give us 30 days, we had to hurry up and put our money into finding a place to live. And also we had to pay for daycare fees while we were out there looking for a place and apartments and stuff, looking at apartments, all kind of stuff. So that cost us some of the money that we was going to spend on the paperwork for our mortgage, for the mortgage we were trying to get on our first house. So in the end, we ended up not getting our first house, and we ended up being stuck in an apartment that was basically on the same level of old school project apartment. I'm telling y'all true. And guess what? We were both working. We were both working, going through this. Both working. I was working 20 hours a week and in school. He was working 40 hours a week. Then when I started working 40 hours a week, I had to pay for daycare. So even though I worked 40 hours a week, the money, half of the money was going towards my daughter's daycare fees. So I was just only working so that we can get $800 extra a month, which only thing that did was pay for our car note. That paid for our car note and all the car work on our car. And if we didn't have a car, our daughter would not be able to get the daycare due to the bus transportation being trashed where we was living at, the apartment, the low-key project apartment that we was living at. So it was all rigged. It was a catch-22. Like, okay, if I don't work 40 hours a week, then there's no car. Okay, then I can't even get to a job because there's no jobs where I'm at. So I have to get a car to get a job. But if I get a job, most of that money is going to the car and to my daughter's daycare. And I up my hours. So in order for us to get extra money to just go on a 2-day vacation, I had to work 60 hours a week and he had to work 60 hours a week. Just for us to take a 2-day vacation at Raccoon State Park a year. So we don't have full work burnout. I'm sharing my life so y'all can really understand how serious this is. You think the older generation needs to start coming out with the truth about their journey, what they've gone through. Now, I'm not over 50, but I'm old enough to have been through more than 1 decade of this toxic system. and raised the child. My daughter's in her 20s, so I'm old enough to really tell y'all when it happened. It happened. This big trifling change happened in society when my daughter was like going on 2. Okay, that would have been like 2002. It was right after, shortly after, Bush won the election. That's when it went all downhill. That's when the nightclubs really started shutting down. That's when minorities started being pushed out of their apartments because they were now considered luxury. And minorities were started being pushed towards apartments that's actually still welfare apartments. Old school, not updated apartments. And this is why people kept saying, vote for Kerry, vote for Kerry. Because everybody knew that once Bush got in office and Bush Jr., it was going to be hard for years after that. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. And that's when the grants started being cut. They even attached your student loan. They connected your student loan to your income tax. This was back in like 2005. And they did that so that people who was working a basic job like 30 making 30,000 a year, they couldn't do they didn't have the option to do deferment. Okay? They was making it impossible for people to get deferment on their student loans. They wanted to make sure that they got their money. So if they wanted to take it out your taxes, they could. They basically didn't care if you paid the minimum amount. If you paid only $25 a month on your student loan. They wanted to make sure they took as much as they wanted to take out of your taxes. That way they guarantee they got their money. But a couple years ago, I think 2020, they got rid of that due to y'all know what we were all going through, during lockdown and stuff. They got rid of that because they realized that was an obsolete thing. They might have been able to get away with that back then, but they can't get away with that now. Okay, they obviously knew there could be some ratting going on. So over the last few years, they got rid of that part, that ability to just take your taxes for your student loan. Okay, they darn sure didn't want people like outraged to another level, not after the George Floyd and stuff. So they was trying to make sure that they basically knew that if they took everybody with student loans from 1995 or something, they knew if they took that money during the shutdown, that the crime rate would go up even more. That there might be some real retaliation to the fact that people didn't even get their taxes during shutdown. So they had to just like disable that whole wicked thing they were doing. This is why y'all, a lot of y'all, this was gradually done to us so that we don't see that it was being done. It was a slow process. It was over 2002 and it's 2025. So by 2015, we were screwed. Okay, especially North America, just straight up screwed. You was going to have to accept that $50,000 wasn't going to cut it no more. Wasn't going to cut it no more. Okay, it just wasn't. We canceled our vacation, camping and all that, y'all. Our little 2-day camping vacation, it only cost us $400 because we drove our own cars there. We had to cancel that. Okay, and I know people saying, who's making $50,000? A lot of Americans are not making more than $50,000. You would be surprised how many aren't. Okay, you would be surprised how little money people make working in retirement homes. You would think that an assistant manager of a retirement home for people with dementia would be making money. No, we was not making money. They made it look like they was paying us good. They made it look like that. But most of us was not even making more than $12 an hour. So I had to literally take care of insane people with dementia, and some of them getting violent, know their diets, do be their escort, be their entertainment, do their one-on-ones with their mental health, social world or whatever, and also know all their health problems and talk to their family members and distribute their stuff and plan their events and all of that, and set up all the rooms that was for them and get them back and forth to wherever they needed to go, all for $12 an hour. Y'all. And then they cut my insurance. This come 2007. It was a gradual thing, like I said, from 2002 on. Okay? Next thing you know, there was no free health insurance anymore. I had to pay $100 a month, and that only covered me. There was no free life insurance no more. I only got $20,000. So I had to, and that came automatically out of my check. In order to have a life insurance for all three of us, I had to pay another $100. Y'all, it was, I had all co-pays for everything. Okay? Bifocals wasn't covered in my stuff. When I tell y'all, and 40 hours a week, and my husband, we were both assistant managers. And was not bringing in more than 60,000. Only way we would even make 50,000. Only way we would make even 60,000 if we was working 50, 60 hours a week. But back then, people were like, "Oh, you assistant manager, you making money?" No. It was all an illusion. You might have got a little extended lunch break. You might have got an extra 15-minute break, but that was about it. And I wasn't assistant manager. I was assistant to the director. A director is above the manager. I was above the manager. I was assistant to the actual director of that entire building of activities. I was trying to do everything she could do and everybody under me could do. Yet I was only making when it came to the perks that maybe I could have lunch sometime for free, $12 an hour. So this is why I tell you, if you're living in somebody's attic right now, you're actually doing better than a lot of people. You may think you're not doing good, better, but you are. You know how much money you're actually saving to spend on yourself if you're just renting somebody's attic out for $300 a month, and that's it. Like, you're just renting somebody's basement out for $300, and you're working like 30, 40 hours a week. You're doing better than a lot of people. It's no longer about the size of your apartment. It's how much money you get to keep. And that's something only I recently learned. Like, it's not about the size. It used to be you could have a luxury apartment and still have a lot of money in your pocket, enough money to be able to go on a 1-week vacation a year. But those days is over. So my thing is this: if you in the first 5-10 years of pursuing your side hustles, you don't have no money to play with. This is what I'm gonna tell y'all something I learned from this YouTube channel. The first 5 years that you have a YouTube channel, you don't have no money to play with. You have money maybe to take a $1,000 vacation. That's it. Okay? That's what I was doing. I went to Virginia Beach and it only cost me $600, and I stayed there for a week in a beach house that I co-rented with my sister. But the point that I'm making is, if I had known the things that I know, started YouTube, if I would have remembered also how struggle got worse and worse, I would have just said the first 5 years of my life on YouTube is monopoly money. It's 85, 90% of that is monopoly money. And it doesn't matter what business you got. Okay. Most of these YouTubers and people with these channels, it's like at 10-year mark, then that's when they be like, okay, maybe I'm gonna get me a real luxury apartment. Now there are some YouTubers that'll be like, they'll just go ahead and pay for a $200,000 home because the first 5 years of their YouTube channel, they're bringing in $100,000 a year. But guess what the problem is with that? A $200,000 home requires you to have the money to keep it up. Okay? And when that money start to go down coming through your YouTube, how you going to keep up with that? How you going to be able to manage the land and any repairs of a $200,000 home? So that becomes another issue. So I feel like this at this point, we have to see that the basic luxury apartment life is actually the only life that's for us now. It really doesn't matter how much money you bring through your YouTube. Because a house is not an asset unless it's bringing you money, unless you're renting it. Once upon a time, a house was an asset still. Well, at least it wasn't a horrific debt. Back in the 1950s, it wasn't, because you was making well enough money to afford all repairs and still live a good life. But this is not the time anymore. These employers are very unpredictable. Who knows what they're going through too? So if I had a YouTube channel, I'm starting a new one. But if I had a YouTube channel and I saw that, hey, it got monetized in 6 months, and I'm making at least $40,000 a year through that YouTube, I would literally be living like I'm only making $15,000 a year. I would literally just be like, I'm living in a little luxury apartment where I'm still only paying $1,200 a month. The same price I was paying before, I'm still paying. I be living like YouTube still don't exist, like why YouTube did not go viral. That is the only way you're going to still live a full life. You want to live a really full life without stress. And I realize unless you become a millionaire, unless you're totally bill and debt free and you're making over $500,000 a year and you have no kids and you have no spouse, okay, maybe then. Or you're making all that money and you just own a little $10,000 cabin in the woods and growing your own food, and you're a vegetarian, you don't got no cattle to take care of. You just living off plant-based food in a $10,000 cabin up in the woods somewhere, and everything is organic. You burning the fire pit and you're using an oil lamp or whatever. Okay, then all right, then you can probably spend some of that YouTube money. But the point is, I wouldn't. I know if I ever got a channel that actually was grossing $500,000 a year or whatever, I damn sure will hurry up and buy me a little small $20,000 cabin. One of them little mini cabins. And I wouldn't even put in no electricity, y'all. I wouldn't even put no electricity in it, because that's another bill. If I do, I probably get a Wi-Fi router or something to hook up to the wires outside to get Wi-Fi. And definitely I probably only have one source of protein that's animal, and then the rest of it would be plant-based. And I would pretty much be putting that money aside from my YouTube so that I never got to be a slave out here to the 9-to-5 job. And I would just be living like I'd be real Amish-like, and have my peace. That's what I would do. And I just go fishing, and I go fishing all spring and summer and freeze all my fish and be good. That's how I would do it, y'all. You know, the quicker you can get out of civilization is the closer you can get to less financial stress. Living in civilization is very expensive. People think that living off the grid is expensive. It's actually not, because you grow your own garden and you freezing your own food. You're freezing your food and everything all fall long. You're canning stuff. You're sewing your own clothes together. You don't have to worry about buying new clothes because you don't work for the system. You can wear faded old rags all you want. You're living in a cabin somewhere. So it's actually a lot cheaper. Yeah, it's a lot cheaper. And you really don't need sun at night. What do you need sun for? 9 o'clock, go to bed. Okay, light a candle. You don't need. What do you need TV for? You got books. You know, you got Wi-Fi. You can watch TV. You can watch Crackle on YouTube. Crackle online is free. You don't need cable television. Like, it's like, I didn't realize how inexpensive it is to live off the land until I did it. Okay. I lived on a farm all summer long. I stayed in a tent, couple days out of a year, and it was far more, far more inexpensive, and I had way more energy because we didn't have no Wi-Fi. Okay, we wasn't all Wi-Fiing it up and stuff. So we was playing board games, we was reading books and telling little stories, and burning wood at the fire pit, and we wasn't on the internet or anything like that. We was going on walks and going out to the lake and the river. We didn't care how nice we looked. We just had on our flannel coats and our jeans and our t-shirts. We weren't spending an hour on our hair and things like that. It was just really inexpensive. We weren't wasting any food. We knew because we were living off the land for almost a week. We knew we couldn't waste food. So we ate the amount we had to eat, and that was that. It was and we did this for 20 years. Did this for 20 years, y'all. We ate the same food for 1 week a year. We ate the same food every day. We cooked at the fire pit. We went and chopped the wood ourselves. That means we didn't have to work out. We didn't have to go to the gym. We went, the girls, my daughter, and her friend, we went, and I got medium-sized wood. The girls got smaller wood because they were younger. The man, he would drag up half a tree, or I would help him. And we would chop that wood for about an hour, chop it up, get a nice amount of wood that would last us all week, and we put our tarp over it, blankets over it. And that would be it. The first day, first hour or two was hard work, but after that, the rest of the week was like we was just free, like real freedom, y'all. I miss that freedom. It was the sweetest freedom. Oh, thank you very much. I'm gonna post some pictures of when I used to go camping. 20 years. Real camping, like with a tent out in the actual woods and wilderness. Not like I'm staying in the cabin. But I'll share some pictures. You can see pictures of me and my daughter and my husband, us putting up our tent, us at the fire pit and stuff like that. We never bought wood. We always went and got our own wood. We always went in the woods and got our wood. We never cheated. Oh, there's only one time we kind of cheated, when he would cook on his skillet, and that was only when it rained real bad. And the only reason why we did is because there was no way for us to cover the fire pit so that it wouldn't get wet. They didn't have nothing to cover the fire pit. And we couldn't put a tarp over the fire pit because the raccoons was trashing it. We tried that. They trashed it. So we was like, we're gonna have to bring a small little skillet with us to cook our bacon and eggs on when it's a real rainy day. Because we already know the raccoons will straight tear everything down. Even and there wasn't no leaves where we were big enough for us to create a little shelter over the fire pit, y'all. So yeah, the 80s and 90s, back in 1993, me and my husband had so much money. We had plenty of money to spend, and yet we were only making 40,000 a year. Yeah, we was able to do whatever we wanted to do. We was only making 40 some thousand a year, and we was able to go to lakes, different countries, just different states, and we was able to go to an outdoor activity 2 3 times a week, museums, and wherever we wanted. And then out of nowhere, boom, 2002. I mean, just in that short window from 1996 to 2002 was when the big shift happened. I can remember because I was like scheduled to get married, but when the shift happened, we couldn't even afford to get married. We couldn't even afford it. But we was able to afford it until 1997. So it was between 1996 and 2005. Some sort of toxic shift happened in North America where the employers got so greedy that they didn't give a damn if we can even afford to live. And then it just got worse and worse and worse and worse after that. Oh, thank you, Benjamin. Yeah. Back in let me tell y'all, back in 1995, let me tell y'all what I was doing back in 1994, 1995. I had a very, very humble life, but I still had plenty of money. This is what I mean by humble. I was only paying $200 in rent a month. But that's very humbling because we was renting the upstairs off. We rented the upstairs. It was 2 rooms. And we paid $200 a month. And I mean, we had plenty of money to do what we wanted. Okay, we was able to afford to keep a car without stressing about the car note. And we was just living it up. Just piling friends in the car and going to the lakes, ice skating, Seven Springs, all type of places. Y'all, if I had it my way, I'd go back to renting the upstairs off somebody. It's like, it's just like, I had to tell a friend. My friend is making a lot of money out in these streets. Legal activity though, but he's living in a government housing. But his neighborhood, the building he's living in, everybody keep to themselves. There ain't no violence or nothing. But he keep talking about moving out. I told him, I said, dude, you might as well stay there. You're making plenty of money out in these streets. You're always able to keep a car while you're living here. You can dress nice, look nice. You can keep a gym membership. You don't got your kids is all grown. They don't need you. You don't got no wife. I said, dude, stay where you at though. Like, stay where you at until you get rich. Like, don't even move. Okay? Just don't tell nobody how you making money out in these streets. Just keep it a secret like you doing it. Keep it a secret. And, I said, until you make a couple 100,000 a year, don't even move out. Till you make a couple 100,000 out in these streets, don't even move out. That's what I told him. He literally got it made, and he doesn't see it though. He's so worried about the fact that it's like government housing. But I told him, I said, you literally got the hookup. Like, you're making money out in these streets and nobody's telling on you. Like, it's legal what you're doing. I said, and you're super fit. You can work out. You can ride your bike all day long. I said, you actually you make enough money in these streets to get you a used car in 1 week. and you have nobody to take care of but you. I said, dude, stay where you are till the real big dollars roll in. Okay, then go ahead and maybe get into a luxury apartment or something. But I told him, I said, don't even move. That's, he goes to Georgia, he flies, he goes to Florida, he goes to all these different places. He can afford a plane ticket like it's nothing. Okay, and and it's wild. It's like and if I knew better, I would have stayed. I would have just kept on renting the upstairs out of my family member. When they bought their home, I would have followed them. I would have followed them. If I knew it was going to end up like this, if I knew that this system was going to get real trifling by 2005, I would have went ahead and said, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and move with you and rent up your 2 rooms, because my one family members got their upstairs. It's like a little motel. It's real nice up there. It got everything up there. It's so nice. It's like it looks like a bed and breakfast upstairs in their in their house, and it's all fully furnished, beautiful linen, everything. Got TV cable, name it. It got this beautiful view of the street with the slanted window, 2 bedroom up there. If I had known, I would have just moved with them, paid them $300 a month for that 2 bedroom, and would have been good. Like, people need to realize. People say, "Oh, they don't got privacy." What do you need privacy for? Go rent a motel room to do what you want to do, or wait till they ain't home and do it, or go in the park in the woods somewhere and smoke your whatever and turn up or whatever, or just keep the noise down and. But stay where you are. If you paying less than $800 rent, if your monthly bill is less than $800, you might as well just go ahead and stay where you are. All right, until you get some real money coming in. My daughter regrets moving out. She said, "Mom, if I would have stayed living with you the next few years and didn't run off with my boyfriend," she said, "I would have saved thousands of dollars." I said, "I tried to tell you. I tried to tell you." I said, "It looked all good because you felt like you could be you wanted 24-hour alone time with your boyfriend, which is unnecessary. What do you need 24-hour alone time with your boyfriend? That's not your husband." But I tried to tell her, I said, "You're sacrificing saving $1,200 a month to have 24-hour alone time with your boyfriend." That's what I tried to tell her, but she didn't want to listen. I said, "If you would have stayed with me 4 years after high school, you and him would already have your own home, and y'all could be renting out a room. Y'all got friends, they would have rented a room off of y'all. Y'all got all those friends with jobs. All you had to do was stay here for 3, 4 years. I wasn't abusing you. I wasn't stealing from you. I wasn't even in your business. Frankly, I didn't give a damn because you're grown." I said, all you had to do was help out a little bit around the house, maybe buy $200 of groceries a month. Y'all would have saved $1,000 a month. This is what I told my daughter. Y'all would have had at least $12,000 out of your pocket saved up, and he was making double your income. He would have been saving up $20,000 a year almost, because he could have lived here too. And y'all would have had $30,000 in y'all pocket that year. That would have been after taxes. After taxes, if y'all would have stayed here for 5 years, that would have been $30,000 times 5. Woo! I said, y'all would have been able to buy y'all a little $60,000 home with a little bit of fixing up to do. And y'all could have rented out maybe 2 of those rooms of your 4-bedroom home to y'all best friends who are still living with their parents. So you could have been getting money out of them and own your own home at the same time. All you had to do was stay here 4 years after school, after you graduated. That's all what it took. That's all what it took. Doing dishes 1 day a week, have him cut the grass 1 day a week, and $200 on groceries. That's it. But she wanted to have full access to her boyfriend 24 hours. Now she's sitting up there complaining how hard society is. Well, you brought it on yourself. I didn't have a mother who had 2 spare rooms. If my mother had 2 empty rooms after high school, I damn sure would have stayed my butt there. I would have stayed my butt there. But she didn't. Okay. The one room my mother had to go to my nephew who was born. So I had no choice but to leave the nest. Okay. But my mother said I got 4-bedroom place with 2 beds. I would have stayed there. I wouldn't have went nowhere. I thought my sister was crazy. My little sister left home, had her own room, and her baby had his own room, and she had the nerve to move out. I'm like, are you crazy? Like, mom don't even be in your business like that. Just helping you with your son. She don't give a damn about your love life. You should have stayed there. Y'all, other people don't know how good they have it. When I hear people complain about having a part-time job and living with their parents, I'll be like, let's trade situations and I'll bet you'll run right back there. You'll run right back there. Okay. I don't have anybody to help me with work here. Nobody's here to help me with the housework. Nobody's here to help me to fix things that break. When washers, dryers, stuff go down wrong, nobody's here. Like, my husband's not here all day. So I'm fending for myself around here. There's a stack of dishes over here. There's nobody to say, can you do some of the dishes? There's nobody's going to bring that laundry up 3 flights of steps every other day. No one's doing that. No one's going to bring up my husband's uniforms. No one's cooking my breakfast. No one's cooking my lunch. It's like all on me. It's all on me. Like, nobody's going to do the gardening and grow the vegetables and save money. No one's going to do that. No one's cleaning all the surfaces down in this home. I got to do 3 flights all by myself of an old home. Y'all, sometimes I just be passing out. I be trying to watch a movie. Me and my husband be trying to watch a movie, and we pass out in 30 minutes like, whoo, child. We don't have no kids here to help. We don't have no family member coming to help. And it's not like we're getting perks at our job. We're not. My daughter has perks. She don't even have to cook her dinner. Her job gives her 5-star dinners every day. She's not there. Her job gives her everything that she needs. So basically, she don't need to be at home. My point is, YouTube is not in here cooking for me. Like, none of y'all coming through here cooking for me. So when I hear people like saying they complaining about living with their mom, I'm like, but I know you eating free breakfast though and dinner. Like, I know. And my daughter's boyfriend make a lot of money, so they got money to waste. They out there over there paying buku money to get their hair done, whatever. Ain't nobody paying for me to get my hair done. Y'all, when I tell y'all, I'm fitting for myself in here. This is why I tell when people want to say mean stuff to me. I say, you're saying mean stuff to somebody that's fitting for themselves. I don't have no mom and dad to call. They're dead. I don't have a stepdad to call. They're dead. My brother who I can call, I can't call. He live all the way in Georgia. I can't run to his house. I can't run to his house. If I get put out on the street right now, I can't run to his house. He's in Georgia. Okay? The point, my sister is raising our nephew and her son on one income. I can't run to her. My oldest sister is raising a third child, okay, on 1.5 income. And their bills is ridiculously high. They're paying out $1,000 something for a luxury, so-called luxury house, luxury apartment house, whatever it is. I can't run to her. She don't got money she ain't got money to send me to pay my bills, and she don't got time to come here. Okay, they got 3 kids. Her husband's 2 kids, and an adopted nephew that they're taking care of. She don't got no money to give here. I'm really legitimately fending for myself. Only person I got is my husband. And when I tell you that he don't even got it made like that. Okay? He don't even got it made like that. Even when he get free stuff from his family, it comes with all these expectations and all these other bills that he got to pay for. So it's not like we just got people coming through here. We don't got nobody coming through. People that still got parents paying some of y'all bills and feeding y'all and stuff. Like, stop thinking that everybody with a house got it made. Everybody with a house don't got it better than you. everybody, everybody with a house don't got it better than you. I had it better when I was renting somebody's attic. I had it better when I was renting a basement apartment. Having a house, having a house don't make it better. It's stressful. All that going up and down the steps. I got to go up these steps. I'm not in my 20s anymore. I'm not in my 20s anymore. I'm going up and down 3 flights of steps. It's killing my back and my knees, y'all. This is real talk. To the point where I'm just ready to move downstairs. I told my husband I'm ready to just like move downstairs. I don't see the point of even ever going upstairs. I'm just too old for it. I got in her 60s, and she literally just lives upstairs in her house. She doesn't even go downstairs because she said it's like too much work to do down there, and her body can't take going up and down the steps. So she's literally confined to one floor in her house. You just never know what people are going through, how hard somebody's life is. Sometimes somebody's life look like it's not hard until you live it. Real, y'all. I was tired as hell today, y'all. When I tell y'all I was worn out, like just beat. And I said, damn, I would love somebody here to just do the laundry today and then just do these dishes. My goodness, I don't got the energy. Whew. And then being at my age in my 40s, y'all, being a woman over 40, just the changes in your body, it's hard. Just like staying out of bed to get work done. It's real hard, y'all. Other women who's over 40, y'all know what I'm talking about. Your body is like in a very confused state, hormonally confused, energetically confused, like strong. You have a lot of highs and lows with your energy. And it's like, I'm supposed to go through this transformation and whoo. I just, it's, I get, maybe it's because I raised a child already. I don't know. Maybe I took care of my parents till they died. Maybe that could have been it too. You know, I took care of sick people. Now I feel spent. I'm just spent, y'all. I'm just spent. I'm like, I don't even care. F getting rich, y'all. I'm just like, good. If I just got food and water, shelter over my head, and I can save up to move into at least a decent luxury apartment, decent one. I'm good with that, y'all. I just don't want no more work. Houses are work. I don't want that. Houses houses is actually a full-time job. I don't know why people act like taking care of a house and working full time ain't hard. Yeah it is. Yeah it is. You gotta vacuum all those rooms. You gotta purge all those cabinets. of food. You got to clean all your kitchen stuff. You still got to do laundry, still got to do self-care. Still got to do dishes. Still got to take the trash out. Still got to cut grass. Got to take care of your property so you don't get fined. On and on and on. People think it's easy because they say, oh, it's easy. But how many people you got in your home? Of course it's going to be easier. Even if you got 3 kids, it's easier than my situation. I don't have no kids here. These cats can't help me, y'all. I don't even go a day without doing dishes. I'm like the dish queen. It has gotten to the point that this is how I gotta talk to y'all. I gotta talk to y'all while I'm cleaning. It's no different like I'm at a full-time job. Trying to work and do my job at the same time. My daughter and her husband's a workaholic, so it's not like they could come through. And then her husband works out of town, and she goes out of town with him. So they can't come through and help me. Some of y'all got kids that come through. And you know what? Some of y'all are so intuitive on here. Some of y'all already sensed it, like, because y'all see how I'm always on videos alone. Like, whew. That woman stay alone. I stay alone, y'all. I stay alone. It's like my job never ends. Never. I was thinking of doing karaoke tonight, but why even bother? Too tired. I still got 2 loads of laundry to carry up. 1, 2, 2 flights. And I still got to finish my spring cleaning. I got to put up new blinds in this house in every window. That means I got to take down all the blinds on every floor of this house. Take down all the blinds. I had to take everything off the china cabinets, and scrub the whole china cabinets down. And I still have a car I have to clean out. I have to clean out a car. I have to get it detailed, clean it. I wonder how that got started. That a lot of people who live in apartments tend to think everybody's life is easier living in a house. I don't know how that got started though. Never judge a book by its cover, y'all. Just because it looks good on the outside don't mean somebody's life is easier on the inside. Y'all like the sound of the dishes? Okay. Well, I'm gonna get ready to go, y'all. I gotta finish these dishes and do scrub the metal pieces down in the TV, and the TV stands gotta get scrubbed, and I gotta put clothes in the dryer. I gotta wash the bathroom sink. Woo, y'all. Telling you. I think that's why my mother dropped dead. My mother dropped dead, y'all. I think that's what killed her. My mother was trying to take care of her apartment by herself after slaving for the slave master for 30 years. And I don't mean black. I'm not saying white slave master. Just working for the man 30 years. I think her body couldn't take no more work. And when she was trying to purge her house, because she was trying to purge her house, I think her body said, I'm out of here. Just checked out. She was trying to purge her apartment. We could tell. And her body couldn't take no more work. Sad, man. Harzy, you gonna be good, Bubba? You gonna be good, or you gonna show off on video? You show off, you be good with mommy? Yeah? Be good? You hear Harzy? You want treats? Come on, come get treats, Bubba. That's what you want. Come on. Did y'all hear Harzy? He's such a big baby. Did y'all hear him? I was holding him, y'all. I had him on my shoulder and he had his head pressed against my head and was whining like a little baby. You the baby in the house, Harzy. Some of y'all like the sounds. Okay. Y'all like hearing the noise in other people's homes. I was your lover, your secretary, working every day of the week. I was off and no one else was there. Helping you before you think 11 years. I sacrificed. But that's a key, I have nothing to show. Wasting my years. I should have never. Not gonna cry. Not gonna shed no tears. No, not gonna cry. Not this time. I can do it. Guarantee the love will take a chance. Sometimes he's the best of me. Look at the circumstances. You still can't help. Sometimes you are strong. No one doesn't from my heart. And love is telling that you need me. I don't get that far. I wouldn't let them stop. Working every day of the week. I thought y'all would know what else was there. Hi, everybody. 11 years I sacrificed. Besides the kids, I have nothing to show. Wasted my years, a fool of a wife. I said I can do it. I'm not gonna cry no more. No. I said I can do it. Love, there is no guarantee. With love, you take your chances. But somehow it gets the best of me. Look at the circumstances. Enjoy the sounds, y'all. Trying to get some. I'm supposed to be resting today, y'all. I didn't feel too well earlier. I don't know, y'all. I thought I was going to have to go to the doctor earlier. Still kind of under the weather. Still not feeling all the way well. I had to do the brat diet today, y'all. You know the brat diet? Where I had just like bread, eggs, and soup. Woo, child. You gotta make sure I didn't crack the plate, y'all. So, y'all, I'm gonna spend trying to get at least some of these done. I'm gonna do some more tonight, y'all. I be cleaning now when I can't sleep. When I have insomnia, I decided that when my change of life keeps me up, I'm gonna come in here and clean. Do anybody else on the channel clean when they can't sleep? I wonder if I'm the only one. I'm going down. I'm going down. Since you ain't around, baby, my whole world's upside down. Someday, oh, will you leave me? Since you've been gone, everything's going wrong. Why'd you have to say goodbye? Look what you've done to me. I can't stop these tears from falling from my eyes. Oh, baby, I'm going down. I'm going down. Since you ain't around, baby, my whole world's upside down. Oh, baby, love, going down, going down. Ooh, I don't know what to do. Hi everybody. We got people that's liking the sounds. You like the sounds, huh? There's one heartache beyond inside. There's one heartache while we said goodbye last night. I just can't find anything. It seems you were gone. But here we are in the dark. Wish I forget you, but you're here to stay. It seems I met you when my love went away. My every started by saying to you, good morning, heartache, what's new? So haunting me now. I've got those Monday that y'all like these SMR videos. I think I'm gonna do these more often. Maybe I should bring the phone over here so y'all can hear me. I'll bring the phone closer so y'all can hear the sounds. Some of y'all want like the sounds coming from other people's houses. In my solitude. No one can be so sad. Blues everywhere. I sit right there. I know that I'll see. And we got some listeners in here. We got 8 people. Y'all like the sound? Tomorrow I'm going to go to the farm, y'all. I'm going to go see the animals tomorrow. Sometimes I go to the farm so I can meditate in peace. It's hard to meditate when you have a busy neighborhood with, loud neighbors and a lot of kids. So I'm gonna go to the farm in a herb garden. They got a nice little herb garden at the farm. I'm gonna take me some poetry, my journal. I'm gonna sit at the herb garden and write in peace. Y'all, I don't do lunch anymore. You know what I have for lunch? Soup. I have soup and tea for lunch now. Because I find that it's unnecessary to eat lunch. Like eat a meal at lunchtime. I just have a big breakfast, y'all. You know what kind of diet I've been doing lately? I've been doing carb loading. Carb front loading. So basically I eat carbs. I eat all my carbs, all my high carby food in the morning hours. And then I don't eat none after that. And I find that it's easier to not overeat. Like I don't overeat when I front carb loading. I don't think the body meant to have not everybody's body is meant to have grains and high carby food 3 meals a day. I think that some people are meant to eat their grains and their high carby food in the morning only. I hope the sound ain't too loud, y'all. I'm going to start getting on video around 3:30 so y'all can hear the sounds of me cleaning. And Ariana Grande, she got jealous energy, y'all. I don't know if y'all know that Ariana Grande, her energy is jealous like. And if she jealous, then she tries to. If she can't have what you have, she'll try to take it or she'll try to ruin it. I don't like her energy. You know, Ariana. Cause she be making fun of people who do ASMR videos. And I think that that's to me she's toxic for doing that. Cause who is she to tell people what's not therapeutic? What's she says that she's basically saying ASMR videos are a joke. Yet I've written some of my best work because I can hear because I got background noise. Not everybody can create in complete silence. So I think that she's passive aggressive. I don't like passive aggressive people. And every time she goes to imitate other singers, she always makes fun of them. Ariana Grande and let her success go to her head. She needs to get back to being more humble and stop shading other singers when she's imitating them. I find her to be toxic, especially since she was messing with somebody else's husband like that. She took a good woman's husband. And everybody say that a woman can't take your man. Yes, she can if she know all about you. If she purposely learning about you through the man, and then trying to be you, and what you're not, then she's doing witchcraft. I don't care what nobody say. Mistresses and side chicks and side dudes are doing witchcraft. They're doing dark art to take people's husbands and wives. That's why they learn about the husband and wife, and then they do whatever the heck they're doing that the man or that the person love, and whatever that they willing to do, they do, which means they're witches. I consider side chicks and side dudes witches. That's how I see it. They're just a different kind of witch. They're sex witches. Notice you don't ever hear about nobody taking somebody's husband without seducing them. Intimate sexual seduce. If it was only about emotional love, why does the seduction come in? They let that person tell them how to dress, whatever, because they want that man and that woman that bad. They want to take them off their partner that bad that they become puppets just to get them. It's ridiculous. They'll give up their own identity. I find that side chicks and side dudes, that's just glorified prostitution. It's another form of prostitution. I know some people won't agree with me, but that's okay. It's low key prostitution. And the creator hates it because it's rigged against the other spouse. It's rigged. I was talking to somebody about this. If the other spouse was told about it, then they would have a fighting chance. They would be able to fight for their spouse. But they're purposely not told, which means they don't want the cheating spouse don't want their spouse to have a chance to win them back. And neither does the mistress or the side dude. And they be talking about the spouse too. Told y'all. I've had dudes try to come at me, and I could tell right away that they was trying to get me to be with them because they was obviously trying to punish a wife or somebody they was with. And I was like, no, I'm not interested. You can just go ahead with that. Sitting up there trying to play some sort of game. I got a story about my experience. Hey y'all. So I'm gonna stop it here. All right. Just for the time being. I'm gonna go down and put the laundry in the dryer. And then tonight, when I want to wear my energy, when I want to get through, if I have insomnia tonight from the changes, I'm gonna come back from here and clean a little bit more, clean more. But I did a lot in here already. Okay, bye everybody. Have a wonderful day, y'all. If y'all like to send donations, you can send donations to my Cash App at money sign Coach V Hunter. Bye.